I matched with a girl on Bumble last spring, and I still think about that night more than I'd like to admit. Not because it was awkward, not because I got stood up, but because I genuinely don't know who or what I almost walked into. Her name was Rachel. At least that's what her profile said. Nothing about her stood out in a bad way. No red flags, no overly filtered photos, no weird captions. Just normal. A brunette with a soft smile, a couple hiking pictures, something about working in marketing. The kind of profile you swipe right on without overthinking it. We started talking, and honestly, it felt easy. No forced small talk. No weird energy. She wasn't overly flirty or trying too hard. If anything, she seemed grounded. That's what got me. We talked for a few days, then a week. Conversations that actually flowed. She'd ask questions, remember things I said. It didn't feel like one of those dead-end matches that fade out after 2 days. And the weirdest part? She didn't rush anything. No pressure to meet immediately. No late night, "What are you doing?" texts. Felt real. Refreshing, even. So when we finally planned to meet up, it didn't feel risky. Felt normal. We picked a Wednesday night. She chose the restaurant. Somewhere quiet, a little more upscale than I usually go, but still casual enough for a first date. Nothing about it felt off. Until I got there. I parked outside and texted her. Just got here. No response. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe she was driving. Maybe she was inside already. I walked up to the entrance, checked my phone again. Still nothing. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. I sent another message. I'm by the entrance. Nothing. By the 15-minute mark, I could feel it, that slow, creeping embarrassment. People walking in and out, glancing at me like I was waiting for someone who wasn't coming. The hostess smiled politely and asked if I needed a table. I told her I was waiting for someone. She checked the list. No one under Rachel, she said. That's when it started to feel off. Not enough to panic. Just enough to make me uncomfortable. I told myself maybe she used a different name. Maybe she was running late. Maybe her phone died. Still 20 minutes now. Then 30. At that point, I was done. I pulled out my phone, ready to send one last message and leave. That's when the door opened behind me. I didn't think anything of it, until someone walked directly up to me. Jake! I turned around. It wasn't Rachel. It was a guy. Mid-40s, maybe. A little overweight, scruffy beard, wearing a black hoodie. The kind of guy you wouldn't look at twice on the street. But something about the way he said my name made my stomach drop. Yeah, I said, cautious. He nodded like he'd just confirmed something important. I'm Rachel's brother. I froze for a second, trying to process that. He kept talking. She's not feeling great tonight, but she still wants to meet you. Something about the way he said it didn't sit right. I frowned. Then why didn't she text me? She asked me to come get you, he said quickly. Her phone died. She didn't want to cancel. Every word sounded normal, reasonable even, but the feeling in my gut, not normal at all. I asked for the address. He shook his head almost immediately. It's really close. I'll just take you. That's when something in my brain clicked. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet, clear thought. Don't go. I took a step back. I think I'll just reschedule, I said. I'll text her later. I turned toward the door, and he stepped in front of me. Not aggressively. Not enough to cause a scene. Just enough to stop me. She'll be upset, he said. His tone had changed. Slightly colder. Less friendly. I felt it instantly. I'll explain, I said, trying to stay calm. For a second, he just stared at me. No expression. No reaction. Then, just like that, he stepped aside. Have a good night. But the way he said it didn't feel like he meant it. Not even close. I didn't waste a second. The moment he stepped aside, I walked straight out of the restaurant, trying not to look like I was rushing. But my heart was already pounding. I could feel it in my chest, in my throat. That instinct telling me I just avoided something I didn't fully understand. I got into my car, locked the doors immediately, and didn't even start the engine right away. I just sat there for a second, breathing. Then I looked up. He was still there. standing outside the restaurant, watching me, not moving, not on his phone, just staring. That was enough. I started the car and pulled out faster than I should have. I didn't look back again. I told myself I was overreacting, that it was just weird timing, miscommunication, something harmless that felt worse than it actually was. I wanted to believe that, until later that night. Around 11:30, my phone buzzed. A message from Rachel. "Why didn't you come?" I stared at the screen for a long second. Then I typed back, trying to keep it casual. "What do you mean? Your brother came to get me." The reply came almost instantly. "I don't have a brother." I read that message at least 5 times. My stomach dropped in a way I can't really explain. It wasn't fear right away, it was more like everything suddenly clicking into place, but in the worst way possible. I responded again. "Then who was that guy?" No reply. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. 20. Nothing. I checked her profile. Still there. But something felt off now. The photos looked the same, but they didn't feel the same anymore. Like I was looking at something fake that I hadn't noticed before. By morning, her profile was gone. Deleted. Like she never existed. And that's when things got worse. Around 1 a.m. that same night, I started getting alerts. First, I thought it was spam. Then I actually read them. New login attempt. Password reset requested. My email. Then my Instagram. Then my bank app. All within minutes. Someone was trying to get into everything. My hands were shaking at that point. I changed every password I had. Added 2-factor authentication to anything that allowed it. I barely slept. The next day, I kept checking over my shoulder without even realizing it. Then, around the afternoon, I got a text. Unknown number. "You should have come with me." I didn't reply. Another message came a few minutes later. Different number. "We saw you." Then another. "You made it harder for yourself." That one stuck with me. Harder for myself? What does that even mean? I blocked every number, but it didn't matter. New ones kept coming. And then one message hit differently. It had my full name. Not just Jake. My full legal name. That's when the fear actually set in. That night, I barely turned the lights off. Every small noise in my apartment felt louder than usual. Around midnight, there was a knock on my door. 3 slow, deliberate taps. I froze. Didn't move. Didn't speak. After a few seconds, I slowly walked toward the door and looked through the peephole. No one. Just an empty hallway. I stood there, listening. Then I heard it, footsteps, fading down the stairs. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, I went back to the restaurant. I needed answers, anything that could make this feel less insane. I talked to the staff, explained what happened. One of them recognized exactly who I was talking about. The guy in the hoodie. They told me he'd been outside for almost an hour before I even arrived. Just waiting. That confirmed it. This wasn't random. This was planned. I went to the police, but there wasn't much they could do. No clear identity. No direct threat. Just messages from random numbers and a fake dating profile. It wasn't enough. About a week later, I found something that made everything worse. I got home from work and saw an envelope slipped under my door. No stamp. No address. Just my name written on it. Inside was a photo. Took me a second to realize what I was looking at. It was me, sitting inside the restaurant that night, taken from outside, through the window. And on the back, written in messy handwriting, "You." That was it. No explanation. No follow-up. And just like that, everything stopped. No more messages. No more login attempts. No more knocks at the door. Nothing. It's been quiet ever since. But I still think about it sometimes. Because one thing is very clear, Rachel was never real. Someone made that profile. Talked to me for days. Built just enough trust to get me to show up. And if I had gone with that guy that night, I don't think I'd be telling this story. The only reason I'm here right now is because, for once, I listened to that small voice in my gut and walked away.